Good morning, BBCians. Welcome back to the BBC channel. Today, I'm going to be evaluating the BBCians. Shall we see? Look at what they are doing. Today, you're going to be evaluated. Big risk.
The key criteria for someone to be classified under big risk lies in the fact that the employee deals with sensitive information, is exposed to virus in her devices, and has not taken the cybersecurity and me course. Hence, we classified I Wanna Be My Own Boss under big risk.
Medium risk.
Next, we classified geography under medium risk, even though she has similar traits as I Wanna Be My Own Boss, because geography took the cybersecurity and me course while I Wanna Be My Own Boss did not.
Medium risk.
We have classified report spam under medium risk, as despite dealing with non-sensitive information and is not susceptible, she has high absence and did not take the cybersecurity and me course.
And small risk.
On the other hand, we have classified minimum wage as small risk, as she deals with non-sensitive information, is not susceptible, and has low absence and took the cybersecurity and me course.
Overall, our model classified 60 employees into the big risk category, 314 employees into the medium risk category, and 126 employees into the small risk category. Next, we will be going into the justifications of our model, starting with big risk. For big risk, we use the columns abstracted case description and abstracted security clearance as our first criteria. For abstracted case description, we categorize cases with suspicious activity detected on the employee's computer as susceptible. According to August, it was found that hackers steal data through phishing and malware attacks. Thus, it is safe to assume that employees who had a susceptible case have a higher risk of receiving cybersecurity threats. While some may argue that categorizing multiple diverse cases with varying threat levels under susceptible isn't effective, we argue that any suspicious activity must be taken very seriously, since being hacked can even occur to those who simply visited phishing websites. We ensured that we did not over-categorize employees into the big risk category by adding another criteria, abstracted security clearance. The abstracted security clearance criteria identifies the employees with the most sensitive information in the company as those who face the highest threats. According to August, this sensitive information is usually the company's intellectual property, making it a target for hackers seeking to gain an advantage. Thus, it is safe to assume that employees handling sensitive information would have a higher risk of receiving cybersecurity threats. One might contend that hackers will want to hack even those with Class 1 information, as the risk of hacking Class 1 information is not too high. However, we posit that we want to prevent the overclassification of employees, and it would be unfair to classify even the employees with Class 1 information as big risk. We use the AND condition because employees that have the highest risk are those that meet both conditions concurrently. For employees that have a susceptible case but handle non-sensitive information, hackers might not attack them since the information does not cause harm to the company when leaked. If they handle sensitive information but do not have a susceptible case, since they have not encountered possible attacks, they are also not at great risk. Employees who have none of these criteria are not at great risk since they have not encountered any attacks and their information is not what hackers would want. The last column that categorizes employees as big risk is the abstracted course title column, which categorizes employees into those who took the cybersecurity with me course and those who did not. Employees who took the course are more aware of cybersecurity threats and practices. Others might argue that employees may not put what they learned in the course into good practice and as a result may still be hacked. However, as seen in the graph over here, employees who attended the course in blue encountered fewer susceptible cases compared to employees who did not in orange, suggesting that those who attended the course were better able to protect themselves. Thus, it is safe to assume that those who went through the course will be less susceptible to cybersecurity hacks. We place this criteria after the first two criteria to ensure that even if employees deal with sensitive information and had prior suspicious activity, if they took the course, they should be able to apply the knowledge to defend themselves from threats. Therefore, they are placed in medium risk instead of big risk.
Now we'll be talking about the criteria for medium risk and small risk. Next, for medium risk, among the employees who do not have both susceptible case and sensitive information, we look at whether employees have high absence or the number of hours they spend online a day is more than 3 hours. This condition is placed here to see how vigilant employees are against cyber attacks to decide their risk category, since their extent of vigilance can further reduce or increase their susceptibility to cyber attacks. We look at the columns abstracted MCs and leave. Employees who had more than 5 MCs and more than 10 leave days were classified under high absence. Employees who have high absence may not be as engaged in their job responsibilities and thus are more careless and will less adhere to good practices for cybersecurity, causing them to be at higher risk of cyber attacks. It was found that high absenteeism can cause employers to have huge productivity losses, and more mistakes are made by employees in their work. Thus, it is safe to assume that employees who had high absences are more careless and less focused, increasing their risk of receiving cybersecurity threats. We also use the column abstracted average time spent online and classify employees who have spent more than 3 hours a day online into the high category, as these employees will have a higher chance of encountering non-secure platforms and leaking any personal or company data. According to Sport Singapore, too much screen time can weaken the brain's ability to process information, focus, make decisions, and control thoughts. Employees who spend more than 3 hours online tend to be more careless and commit security lapses such as clicking on links to suspicious sites or neglecting security protocols. Thus, employees who have at least one of these two criteria are at medium risk. Employees with low absence and who spend 3 or fewer hours a day online are at small risk since they are focused at work, less likely to encounter suspicious sites, and are able to perform good cybersecurity practices both at work and online, lowering their risk of receiving cybersecurity threats.
While our model has proven valuable in identifying risk categories for each employee, it's crucial to be aware of its limitations. Let's delve into these limitations and explore potential solutions. Firstly, our model might at times generate false positives, where employees are wrongly placed in the big risk category, or false negatives, where employees are mistakenly not placed in this category. This can result in inaccurate categorizations and missed threats. To address this, big company can establish a dedicated team responsible for investigating and resolving potential false positives and false negatives. This team can also provide continuous feedback for model improvement. Next, our model places notable weight on individual criteria, such as susceptible cases and handling sensitive information. This approach may not adequately account for employees who exhibit multiple low-risk behaviors that collectively pose a significant threat. This can be resolved by incorporating weighted risk factors that consider the cumulative effect of multiple low-risk behaviors or conditions. This approach helps identify employees whose combined factors elevate their overall risk. In our model, the fixed threshold of more than 5 MCs or more than 10 leave days for high absence does not consider the varying number of work days for employees with different appointments. To solve this, big company can adopt relative thresholds, where the number of days absent is a percentage of the employee's total work days. This approach makes the criteria more adaptable to employees with different work arrangements, leading to more accurate classification. Lastly, our model requires the monitoring of employee behavior and the collection of personal data, which may raise privacy and ethical concerns. This could lead to resistance from employees. Big company can mitigate these by implementing transparent and ethical monitoring practices that comply with privacy regulations. We should communicate with our employees, explaining the reasons for monitoring and the types of data collected, and request their consent to ensure alignment with ethical and legal standards.
Right, guys, I'm going to introduce our finest BBCians Internal Security Ambassador. Alright, so how does it feel like to be the Internal Security Ambassador? Alright, so what do? They are a role model. They identify common threats. They communicate security information and safe practices to our colleagues and provide feedbacks. On top of that, they are given a reward for vigilance. This is for all the staff. And it's given yearly. This includes passing the monthly checks and as well as the safe practices that they follow, given by the ISA. For the big company, having internal cybersecurity also offers the advantage of distributed responsibilities for cybersecurity. This helps create a company-wide culture of vigilance and awareness, reducing the organization's overall risk and vulnerability to cyber threats. It's a win-win situation where both individuals and company benefits from this proactive approach to cybersecurity. As for reward for vigilance, this program benefits BBC by enhancing its security posture, fostering a positive culture, and improving its public image. For employees, it provides recognition, motivation, professional development, and also a safer work environment. The overall result is a more secure and resilient organization. Hi guys.
Hey, I got card for you. Hey!
Wow. Together?
We will make BBC great again! What else do we say? I wanna be the very
Hey, I want to